Hey everyone, welcome to Podcast for Your Life.
The podcast where we share thoughts from our life.
For yours, I'm Jason.
And I'm Jam, and today we are going to talk about a somewhat serendipitous topic. Jason and I have been kind of wondering about what to talk about next. We have some ideas that have been sent in, but we've just been kind of like having a hard time getting that spark of inspiration. And the topic of pockets burst into the scene just moments ago.
Like literally moments ago. I don't even know what serendipitous means, but this conversation is serendipitous. That's just a fun word to say. We should do an episode on that next time.
So, pockets, let's start with just really broad pockets. Everyone knows what they are, but let's
30,000 feet.
Let's do the 30,000, 80,000 foot view.
What are they?
They're a fold or a space, one could say, in an article of clothing. I guess it doesn't have to be in clothing, but that's what we're talking about mostly, because you could have a pocket, say, on the back of a car seat or something. But it's a space in clothing to put things.
Yeah, we're specifically talking about like pockets on clothes, because I don't know, pockets on a backpack or pockets on the back of your passenger seat. Like, I don't think that's that interesting. So, clothes pockets.
Yes.
So pockets are pretty cool. They were invented many years ago, and because somebody was just like, I love these pants, but I just feel like I don't have enough hands to carry more items. I just wish I could carry more items. Back then, they obviously didn't have wallets or cell phones, but you know, they just were like, I want to put something small in here, maybe a small tablet, and maybe my chisel, maybe a hammer. And somewhere along the way, a tailor was like, hey, let's tie this extra piece of material together to the side of this pants or the side of this cloak, and bam, pockets were formed.
Actually, the pocket was invented way before the pants ever were. It's really strange.
Seriously?
So we were talking about pockets. There's a few things to talk about. One thing that I have griped about many times is, so I've noticed on a lot of the articles of clothing that my wife has, her pockets are like, sometimes they're fake, like they don't even open, there's not even a thing, or they're so small that you can barely use them for anything other than like maybe some change or something like that. And it's, what frustrates me about that is like, clearly, like Jason was kind of just saying, no matter how the pocket came about, it was surely designed for use, for it to be utilized, and for like functionality is the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And yet at this point, we're to a point in civilization where maybe like we want things to look functional, but we don't need it to actually function. So
it's almost like pockets are cool to look at now. It's like, oh, it's so cool that you have a pocket. Oh my gosh, you have 3 pockets. Whoa.
Well, I don't think it's cool. I think it just gives the idea of completion. Like jeans, for instance, jeans just don't look like jeans unless they have the pockets where you're expecting pockets to be. They would feel like strange. So I think
possibly.
I mean, it just needs to look like you're used to jeans looking.
Possibly. I don't know. Like I don't tuck my shirts in, so my shirt generally covers any noticeable part of the pocket. I think it's more of like, it would just be weird if there weren't any pockets. Like, I've had pants in the past that don't have pockets, like, certain PJs, like pajama bottoms don't have pockets. And I'm always like, hey, even though, like, I understand that the person who made these pajama bottoms wasn't expecting me to be, like, walking around with my wallet and cell phone, I just feel like I'm missing something here.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
What I'm talking about is the
look. I understand. Yeah.
Stemming off the fact that a lot of Emily's pants don't have functioning, or even not just pants, but like also jackets and stuff, don't have, or shirts don't have functioning pockets. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's just this thing where they want it to look like it's normal.
Yeah.
Like what people are used to. So, but it bothers me because I'm kind of like, that is so literally the whole point of a pocket is for it to function and hold items. Even if you don't use it for that, it needs to at least be able to do that. And yet, like, it's almost like you couldn't really even call it a pocket if it doesn't function.
It's probably not called a pocket. I wonder what the designer calls it. And this is a half crest fold, looks a lot like a pocket. But it's not, so it's just a fold.
Or like faux, maybe they just call it faux pocket.
With gold stitching.
It's really interesting though because it brought up the discussion of the fact that like part of why that is more of a trend in ladies' clothing is because ladies just sort of use pockets less as well. Not that like that means that they should be fake pockets, but I've talked with Emily, I've talked with coworkers or whatever when I've been grappling about this. And about how they just think it's weird or wrong or whatever. I'm like, man, I use pockets all the time. I want everybody to have pockets. But it seems like ladies use pockets a lot less. Like, we're all about, like, loading stuff up in the pockets.
Cargo pants, more pockets. Yeah. The whole leg, just be a big pocket.
If I have a space to fit something, I'm gonna find something to put in that pocket, basically. So,
are you serious, really?
No, I'm kind of kidding.
Yeah, but like, I mean, it has potential, at least.
Right. It's like, I'm not gonna not use it for... Yeah.
Do you think it's because of like purses or handbags? Like because I have this, the purses are getting bigger and the pockets are getting more faux pocket.
Yeah, maybe. And also, I think there's a lot more articles of clothing that women wear, like dresses or whatever, that like, I'm not sure how easy it is to have a dress that has pockets. So maybe they've had to more often just be used to having their items in a purse instead of pockets. So maybe it's just that like, that's something that they deal with more often than we ever do.
Man, the struggle is real. I feel so bad.
As a disclaimer, we did try to have our coworker Laura speak on this from the perspective of one who does deal with this fake pockets, small pockets issue, but she did not want to.
She declined to comment.
Yeah. We reached out to our people and
we're still waiting on a response. So, do you think Emily is as upset with this faux pocket as you are? Does it really bother her, or does it bother you more?
That's a question I haven't asked myself.
That's a good question to ask your wife, actually. Don't ask your wife. Don't ask yourself that.
I don't think that it bothers her, really. It is annoying.
That's okay. I'm not invalidating your claim. I'm just curious. That was for the listeners. They want to know, too. Like, what is Emily
It bothers me. Well, I have had, like, have you ever had a sport coat or a blazer that has pockets that don't work? Like some men's sport coats and blazers do have that now.
I've had vests.
Vests, there you go.
Yeah. Vests are always sewn together, and I'm like, is this a pocket? If I cut this thread, is it going to ruin the whole vest?
Right. And isn't that pretty annoying? It's like, why would you put something that looks like a pocket? It's just like inherently dishonest.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure. I'm like, I think they're usually pockets, but even sometimes with those, I'm like, I don't know. Am I supposed to? Yeah, but I understand that they're going for an aesthetic, but maybe it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's interesting. And as we talked about this, we started thinking like, man, other than just the fake pockets, real pockets discussion, there's also a whole world of who uses what pocket for what. Mm-hmm. Do you use pockets at all? What's your pocket style?
Do you put your like cell phone and wallet in your front pockets or your back pockets?
So here's how I do this, and I haven't changed it in probably 6 years or so. Wallet goes in front left. Is this so if anyone needs to pickpocket me?
Yeah.
Go front left.
Front left.
Don't waste your time. Front left. Pens and a couple loose things or whatever go in the front right.
Okay.
Back pocket is my phone. Back right.
Interesting. Are you right-handed?
Uh-huh. And then my back left pocket is where keys go. I have a little, they hang from my belt loop and they tuck into the back left pocket. So
wow, that's so interesting. Okay, so do you take out your left front pocket wallet with your left hand? And it's a habit? Like that feels comfortable and natural?
Well, the reason why I do that is because I can pull it out with my left hand and then my right hand is free to be the one that pulls out which card I want to take out. So my left hand is really just the one that's going to hold the wallet, while my right hand does the fancy footwork. So
how interesting. The only thing is that, like, if I was fending off somebody reaching for my wallet, I would use mine's in my right front pocket. So I would use my right hand to block them. That's so interesting.
But I'm not that worried. I mean, this isn't necessarily about, like, which one's more secure, right or left. But I think it's pretty well understood that putting your wallet in your front pocket is way more secure than your back.
I wouldn't want to sit on my phone. So my phone's in my left front. So my left front, and I never have anything in the back unless it's keys, and I'm going to be standing for a long time. Because sometimes I have a carabiner on my set of keys, so I'll like hook it to a belt loop. but I can't sit on anything. I've never done the wallet on the back. I think that's actually really bad for your back.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Like, especially some people have these like 3-inch thick wallets and it's loaded with a bunch of checks and stuff and receipts. That's really bad for your back. I'm not an expert, but I think that's really bad for your back.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been like my back pockets have almost always been empty, like probably 90% of the time. Unless it's like, oh, I need to just stick something in one of my pockets because I need to like have it on me and I don't want to be carrying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so interesting.
Well, I moved to putting my phone in my back pocket. I have a sleeve that it's in, so the case, I mean, like basically the screen and the back and everything are completely covered.
Sure, yeah.
So and it's really low profile. I mean, like most phones are, they're not super thick these days.
Yeah.
But I moved to doing that whenever phones started getting a little bit bigger, and so I moved it to my back pocket because my front pocket it was a little bit harder to get in and out of.
Sure, I understand. Also
Yeah.
depends on the pants. But I think it's interesting because, like, who knows, like, the bend test or who knows the strength of the phone long term, but, like, that's got to be at least 50 pounds that's, like, sitting on your phone, if you think about it.
I mean...
Maybe 40. I'm sorry. I don't want to sell you short. 40 pounds.
Do you remember... So, I just remembered this ad. There was an Old Navy ad back when I was a kid, and I remember thinking this was really cool, but it was talking about Old Navy's jeans, their pants, and it was advertising, it was like this cartoon, I think actually this ad would appear on One Saturday Morning cartoon thing, but it was a cartoon, was wearing the pants, and it was basically advertising the fact that like Old Navy's pockets are really big, and so it was like this cartoon character was like pulling tons of items out of the pockets and stuff. I remember thinking like, whoa, it's so cool, like the bigger the pocket, the better. Like, obviously.
The more things.
The more things you can fit there. And I remember thinking that was so cool that somehow they had, like, figured out some way to have, like, more pocket space.
That just reminds me of, like, The Mask, where he's, like, pulling bazookas out of his pants. And
it basically was like that. I mean, it was a cartoon character, and he was, like, pulling, like, stuff out.
I bet it was that. Like, that's... Well, I guess that's a pretty common idea.
Or, like, Mary Poppins' bag.
Mary Poppins, yeah.
Anyway, that was interesting. But I remember as a kid thinking that was really appealing. Like, if you've got bigger pockets, like, you're going to win in the pants game. But clearly that's not really the goal these days.
So we saved the most pressing question for last. And that question would be, what are your thoughts on, like, Velcro seals and button seals? So you got a pocket, and it's, like, got a flap that covers it to seal it with either a button or a Velcro. What are your thoughts on those?
Well, are snaps included in that too? Like,
yeah, snaps too. Yeah, I forgot about this.
All right. So for the most part, I don't want my pockets to close like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want any fastening capability whatsoever. Definitely never, almost ever Velcro. It's just so cringy. Like it I don't know. It just ugh. And it can catch on other things and whatnot. Like if you like roll around on the carpet or something. But I will say, so I use some cargo pants for traveling, and what I really like about that is I can put some like memory cards, or I can put some camera batteries or whatever nearby,
buttons
and I like to have either buttons or snaps for those. I kind of like buttons more because a snap could come open and you might not know, depending like if you like I don't know, we're walking through some brush or something like that. Whereas a button, it can't just pull apart unless the button like completely comes off.
Yeah.
But that's the situation where I really am thankful to have my pockets like securely closed, to where something's not going to accidentally fall out, like a important camera.
Yeah. I have a lot of pairs of shorts that have like the knee pocket with buttons, and I just like, at least my right side, it's like always open because I just feel like it's so inconvenient to like button it back up after I stick like my keys in there. Like, I don't think they're going to fall out. If I'm worried about them falling out, I'll put them somewhere else, you know?
Here's a question as we wrap up. What if somebody came out with some pants that had a pocket in a totally different place, mainly for security purposes? It's like, what if they created a pocket in the inner thigh for your wallet? So it'd be super secure, but it'd be in a pretty uncomfortable area. And to like get it out to buy something, you'd have to like, do that.
Yeah, that is weird.
But you'd never get pickpocketed because,
You just might. I wouldn't put it past any pickpocket to figure out how to get a pocket out of anywhere. That's an interesting concept, Jam. Maybe we'll table that for a later date. We'll see how things go.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for hearing our thoughts about pockets.
Yeah, it was getting good at the end, and then it kind of...
Well, that about wraps it up for today.
One might say that we have sealed that pocket shut.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
We can do it again. If
No, I like it. I wanted to have the reaction that was genuine.